Hola bandidos, ¿cómo estamos? Welcome to Mel's Magic Official. C'est moi, Magic Mel, and here, finally, Charles. For those of you who are wondering, who the hell is Charles? Well, here he is. He's one of my guardian angels. So, welcome to the show. I don't even know what episode we're on. It does not matter. What matters is we gotta tune in and check in with your energy. Have you been feeling super restless over the past few days? Damn, I have. I've been like trying to calm down. I had to cut out the coffee because I was on overdrive. Just this feeling of not being able to sit down and having to move. I had to do lots of sport, dancing, climbing a mountain, everything to just ground everything. So if you've been feeling restless, you're not alone. There's some crazy planetary conjunctions going on. I'm not an astrologer. Do check it out though. I think Jupiter with something else. And yesterday we had, of course, the full moon in Scorpio. So that was a double whammy, triple whammy of planetary alignments. That stuff does affect us, whether we're conscious of it or not. So let's see how you're doing with this full moon in Scorpio. So yeah, I'm tuning into your Asgard team, angel, spirit guides, gods and goddesses, and ancestors who are rooting for us. They're all like within us and around us, supporting us in this transformation. I tell you what, I don't even know. I'm trying to be on a plateau and telling the universe slowly, but the universe keeps on dishing me up new steps into my transformation to the point where I'm like, do I just completely let go of everything I thought I was? I feel this nudging inside of me saying yes, but my ego is resisting. So, again, if you feel resistance, if you've been feeling restless, you're not alone. Magic Mel is right there with you. Let's see how you're feeling. Mama say, what is the environmental energy, excuse me, surrounding you right now in this full moon in Scorpio? Mama say, Whoa, wow, the cards are flying. And there's too many cards flying. Let's do this again. Temperance, remember, is a virtue. What is the main energy surrounding you in this full moon in Scorpio? Thank you so much. Let's channel that energy. One card, please. Dear Oscar team, dear A team, are you checking in with them? Are you communicating? Are you picking up that phone? Because remember, they're all on call. But we gotta make that call. And the thing about receiving guidance also is coming out of our head. And I'm battling with that right now, I admit it. Because my head is spinning all kinds of stories, whereas my body and my intuition is telling me something different. So I also need to slow down and see what I'm feeling right now. Because that is where the answer is, no? Not in the future stories, not in the regurgitations of the past, but right now. We got one card. Wow. Surrounding energy is the Queen of Wands. Everything to do with passion, no? So this restless energy will be channeled once everything goes direct again, if it's not today, tomorrow, or on Friday on the 25th. So if you've been feeling this passion bubbling inside of you, making you actually feel restless, you not knowing where to put that energy that you're feeling, it's okay. The Queen of Wands, that aspect in you and around you, is guiding you to distill and to contain and channel that energy into one focus, into the next step. Because it feels weird now to be a little bit in limbo land and having the energy dispersed. That adds to restlessness, no? Once we make a decision, once we focus our energy, the energy has somewhere to go. But if we're all over the place, well, dispersal. So the Queen of Wands is surrounding you, is encouraging you to not be afraid of that passion, to tap into that, to seize it, to ride that wave of energy that is welling up in all of us, and to channel it towards your passion, to what really energizes you. Because your passion won't tire you, it won't drain you. Obviously you're going to get physically tired at some point, but it's different than feeling drained. Like, your passion lights you up from the inside. It makes you glow. It energizes you. It excites you. Yeah? So tap into that. Do some filtering. Ask yourself, what is it that really lights me up? What is it that I really want to do? Let's be radical. I'm going to do the same. if you had if this was the last year of your life, yes, I know it's radical, but if it was, what would you do? I mean, put aside all of the excuses and all the um, postergación, ¿cómo se llama? All the procrastination. Like, what is it that you really want to do and that you've been putting off? Your inner Queen of Wands will help you tap into that. Okay? So, there you go. Passion is in the air, around you, and within you. What is your current challenge? Thank you so much. I mean, we're always challenged by something. Usually our ego's resistance, not allowing the flow to flow. What is it that you're feeling challenged by right now with this full moon in Scorpio? Letting go of the resentments of the past. Maybe you had a fight, maybe you had a falling out with someone or more than one person, and you keep on replaying that conversation or the way it ended in your mind. And you know what? Talking about draining energy, that drains your energy because you're essentially not present and you're feeding into a scenario that's not even there yet anymore. Doesn't mean it didn't happen, but no use going over it in your mind, channeling your energy in the wrong direction, which also makes you feel restless. Yeah. So it's also about the zero-sum games, no? Maybe you were in a quarrel, maybe you are in a quarrel, or maybe you are in a situation where you feel like, okay, there's a winner and there's a loser, and I want to be the winner. But you know, that is all paradigm. We're all learning to create and to be in win-win-win situations, meaning what is good, what is my highest is in your highest. If I am aligned and take care of myself, love myself in such a way that I act on my highest excitement, it's not going to injure anyone because that is literally my higher self guiding me. And my higher self is always coming from the soul, and the soul would never harm anyone else. Okay, so it's a responsibility and our duty to follow our highest excitement and to not think, and to try not to come from ego where, okay, it's a competition, it's me versus you. Because remember, you are, the other is the self. Oh, wait, it's the self in the other, no? So we're all, I am you, you are me in that higher perspective. Of course, we're all in our individual avatars, but to really overcome that and transcend that from that higher perspective, looking down and seeing, okay, we're all just avatars here. And the new paradigm works on win-win-win scenarios where you win, I win, and the universe at large wins, i.e. the collective wins. We are practicing that new way of being. Okay, so if you're feeling challenged by those old stories that play out in your relationships, in your situations at work, where you feel that it's me versus, you versus someone else, try and remind yourself, hey, oops, I'm aware that this is the old way of being. Is there another way of approaching a situation where your needs are met, the other person's needs are met, and you can come to an understanding, to a higher perspective that serves everyone, and where nobody really wins and loses, where everyone's needs are being met. And that scenario exists now, but we got to look at it from this higher vantage point, not from the 3D where we all get stuck in our own little avatar. And I know it can be challenging, hence it's in a challenged position, no? I get it. I mean, I'm not immune to that. But that's when we try and become aware in those scenarios and tune in, okay, what would be the higher perspective here? What would be a scenario where everyone is satisfied, or where we can come to an agreement, rather than, okay, there's a confrontation and somebody's wounded and walks away and feels at loss and somebody else wins. The winner at the end is not even a winner, because if someone else loses, then we all lose, no? So let's practice this new way of being. And let's use conflict as opportunities really to practice this new way, to communicate in a different way, to listen, to try and understand, to be curious about the other person, to be curious about the situation, about your own triggers, and to not just leave it in the flare up and in the conflict and then, drop the swords and that's it. Let's come together and talk, communicate consciously. it takes a lot, and we're all practicing it, and it also takes us giving each other, cutting ourselves some slack, not being like all perfectionistic about it, but being patient with each other and each other's flaws and shortcomings and insecurities and all the, everything that makes us human. Yeah. So if you feel challenged in this way in your situations, in your relationships, don't feel alone. We're all in it together. We're all practicing this new way of being. Well, that's your challenge. What is your opportunity in this current full moon energy? What is your opportunity? I mean, challenges and opportunities are reversible. It's not like, ooh, damn, guys. The opportunity is to really, talking about switching paradigms, is to really shift and step into a new way of being. The world is all about a new cycle, no? Like walking through that portal of a new way of being. So can we be aware of the opportunity? And again, that comes down to grounding ourselves and being present in our environment. Where are you at? What are the relationships telling you right now, reflecting you right now? What is everything in your life reflecting to you right now? How can you practice? How are you being called towards a new way of being right now? That's your opportunity. Leaving behind the old way of me versus you versus another, and seizing the opportunity to practice and embody meaning speaking, being, acting out a new way of being. Ask yourself, how and where, in which situations am I invited to practice a new way of being that is more higher consciousness, as in we are all one. We're all here to collaborate and to harmonize with each other, to complement each other, because we can't really function on our own. We got to admit that too, no? I mean, I used to be like that too. I can do everything on my own. Not really. That's again a self-defense mechanism, because it's too complicated to deal with other people, no? But can we come together and work together, uplift each other, encourage our strengths, forgive our weaknesses? Again, cutting ourselves a lot of slack because it's a new way of being. Can we walk through that portal and seize the opportunity right here, right now, in your present life, not in the future, wherever you are right now in your life? Ask yourself, what does your soul want you to know? Thank you so much, dear Asgard team. What does your soul want you to know? Charles is also contemplating. What does your soul want you to know? Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Your soul wants you to know that it's okay to maybe not have this end vision so clear. We talk a lot about knowing our vision, knowing where we're going, but sometimes, the vision unfolds as we walk, as we take a step in the direction of that vision. And it often pans out completely different, because life is organic, no? And our mind, our conceptual mind, cannot foresee what is around the corner. I mean, that's the beauty of it too, because imagine like knowing exactly what's going to happen at every corner, at every turn of life. That would be like pretty boring, no? So your soul wants to know, like, give yourself, again, some slack if you haven't got it all figured out, because the Ten of Pentacles is like, kind of the legacy, having everything figured out, the family, the community, the pentacles, everything is aligned, knowing where we're going. It's cool and it's great if you have that vision, if you can visualize and feel yourself into it, but be flexible also. It's not always so crystal clear. Allow yourself to do a U-turn if necessary. Allow yourself to change your mind. Allow yourself to refine that vision. Allow yourself to add to the vision. Allow yourself to drop it completely and envision something new. I feel it has a lot to do with flexibility. Again, our mind, because it likes to compartmentalize and conceptualize everything, because it wants to put the unknown, i.e. life, into the known categories, likes to be clear on things. Like our mind freaks out when faced with the unknown, because it likes predictability. It likes to feel safe, and safety lies in predictability. Hence, we feel challenged by the newness of it all, by the newness of a new way of being. Although we know that an old way of being maybe hurts, we hurt each other, at least it feels familiar. That weird thing where our old patterns, we're kind of aware that they're outdated, but at least they feel familiar, i.e. at least they feel safe, although they're not really. You know what I'm saying? So it's cutting ourselves some slack. And also allowing that bigger vision to unfold as we are grounded in our present experience. I know it's challenging. I mean, I'm constantly also like, like a yo-yo, like a chewing gum between, okay, where is it I want to go and where am I right now? Am I taking the right steps in that direction? It's this trying to be malleable, trying to be flexible, trying to be fluid in our way of being as that vision unfolds. Can we be more fluid? I'm telling you, just like I'm telling me, because I'm undergoing that process too, where especially past 2 days, I've been feeling this need to really ground myself and reorient myself. That I came back from India, that had such an immense impact. I haven't even spoken about that yet, because again, 3D responsibilities and tasks call you towards the present moment. But I really feel this need to say, okay, where am I actually? How have I integrated my experience? What resonates right now? And to be so fluid and allowing that, and not attached to an identity or a way of being, so we can drop something that really doesn't serve us anymore in the moment. Even though maybe the past moment we decided to be something completely different. Every moment we are a completely different being, and we can make radical changes if we want to, if we decide to, if we declare to. Depends on you and me. It depends on you. Like, how ready are you to drop anything that doesn't serve you anymore? It can feel really scary. It feels safer even to be in the fantasy of having that super cut out vision, like super defined vision, because again, the mind likes the concreteness, the predictability of it, and we get disoriented if, with new information, the vision calls to be refined or to be redirected into a new direction. No? Our mind is again like, I thought you just had it all figured out and now you want to change again. But ask yourself, how fluid can you be? How present and how truthful with who you are in the present moment can you be? I mean, the truth is not even something fixed, no, it's something we align to in every moment. It's your personal truth. And because it's fluid, it's fluid by the very fact that life is fluid, can you in each moment align to what resonates in the moment rather than attach to it like rigidly and say, okay, I've got it now, I've got my 10 of Pentacles vision, I'm going to stick to that forever. How fluid can you be? Let me know how you feel about this, in the comments box, because I'm curious how that feels for you. I'm undergoing the same process, I'm telling you. So we're on it together, remember? Let's see what your biggest fear is, because our fears are often the ones really just blocking us from flowing. And our fears represent our resistance. So what's your biggest fear at this point, this moment in time? I mean, the reading is timeless, so whenever you see this, it's the right time. I mean, time is a weird thing anyway, no? It's kind of, we're realizing more it's like a 360-degree thing from the present moment rather than a linear, yesterday, today, and tomorrow kind of thing. But again, in the mind, it feels safe and predictable if we say yesterday, today, and tomorrow. In any case, Magic Mel. Okay, what is your what is your current fear? I'm gonna take the card that isolated itself. I'm telling you, even these cards are jumping around like with this restless energy. It's a current fear. Your current fear is self-deception. 1 second. I mean, Seven of Swords is all about, I'm going to show it to you in a minute, about not being truthful with ourselves. Look at him. It's all about these swords, no? He's like sneaking away with a bunch of swords in his hand, looking back, looking like, oh, I don't think anybody noticed. I don't think I even noticed. I mean, the Seven of Swords is about deception. And deception is, we gotta ask ourselves mainly, like, who are we deceiving? Who are you deceiving? Aren't you just deceiving yourself? What are you not willing to face? What are you not trying to, what are you trying to hold on to that actually doesn't serve you? You know, these swords are also like mental baggage. Do you really need to drag that with you forward as you are asked to step into a new chapter, a new way of being? Like, how truthful can you be with yourself? Even with your own fears, you know, we're talking about fears here. Can you be compassionate with yourself as you face your fears? Write them down and say, okay, and admit it, you know, okay, I'm actually shit scared of going this new way, or I'm shit scared of 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 changing direction, or you know, what are people going to think? I mean, I'm dealing with that fear too, like, what are people going to think? Isn't that the age old fear we all have? This fear of judgment, being judged by another. But at the end of the day, you live with yourself, no? I mean, really think about it. You wake up with yourself, you meet a bunch of people, you go to bed with yourself. You're born with yourself and you die with yourself. So that is the most fundamental relationship, you and you. You versus you. You know, the competition thing, if anything, compete against yourself, not against somebody else. There's no real competition but you versus you. Maybe not competition, but improvement. But first, we gotta, in order to flow forward, we gotta know in what ways we're deceiving ourselves. And it's not easy. I know. Like, our ego likes to deny, reject, deflect, pretend, deny, you know, like, and distract, anything but facing ourselves. But we talk a lot about freedom also, no? Freedom comes by knowing ourselves, by understanding how we function, our patterns, our minds habituated, loops of thinking, regurgitations, projections, our fears. Then we can really choose once we get that higher perspective. Because when we're just in the thick of things, not willing to sift through our thoughts and our patterns to choose, to consciously choose, then we're just like, you're not really free to make a choice. No? And none of this is to judge, nor our fears, nor our self-deceptive ways. I told you that I'm highly intrigued by the darkness and by the way our ego functions, because that is the whole point of the journey. If we're all like angelic and just divine and all like, then why are we even here? How about like finding the sacred again in our own shit, in our own self-deceptive ways, in our ego? Like, poor ego gets so much crap from us, no? We gotta eradicate the ego. Oh my God. How about understanding how our ego functions and what its function is, and then from a higher perspective, which is always love, make a conscious choice of who we really want to become in a fluid way. So ask yourself, in what ways are you self-deceiving yourself? What are you carpet sweeping? What are you not facing? And maybe the fear is, well, I just can't face the real truth right now, and that's okay. But at least you're already accepting that part of yourself, rather than not even looking at that part that you're not accepting. You know what I mean? And once it feels a little bit more allowing, you can look a little bit deeper. It's all about being inquisitive and curious about yourself and your own beliefs. Like, why does it feel scary to let go of, you fill in the blanks? Why does it feel scary to align with this new community or this new way of being? What are you scared of being judged about? And does it really matter? Let's say you do, just an example, go towards this new community, and let's say you will be judged for it. Does it really matter? Who is the one judging you? Does that person's opinion really matter at the end of the day? Is that person's opinion worth not doing what you intuitively feel is your new direction? What feels allowing? What direction, what choice feels allowing, and which choice feels restrictive? In what ways are you trying to keep yourself safe? Is it really safety? Or is it just a familiar way of being, a familiar pattern? Or are you simply scared of being totally vulnerable in the unknown? Because the unknown, stepping into unknown takes this vulnerability, no? Takes this admitting to ourselves, well, I got nothing figured out and I don't know where the hell I'm going. And I don't even know how I'm going to do this, but I just going to go and do it anyway. You know, it feels safer to not do that and say, well, you know, we kind of justify the safer choice by saying, well, I need more time and at least this is more pragmatic and I'm not going to upset anyone and this is, you know, this feels safer basically. Safer is one route, more liberating and scary is the other route. You know, I'm really going to do that and say, okay, I only have one more year to live. How do I want to spend that year? Who do I want to be in that year? In this year, we've got like what, 8 more months to go in 2024? Let's do the self-reflection together. In what ways are we deceiving ourselves? In what ways are we, what are our fears telling us? Let's listen to them and let's ask ourselves, is that really true? What our fears are, the reasoning of our fears? Because the fears are there because of a certain belief, no? So if you go underneath the fear and check the belief, ask yourself, is that really true? Like, is this worthwhile believing, or are we ready to believe something different, to let go of the old belief, which is keeping us stuck in self-deception, and to drop it all and say, you know what, I ain't got nothing figured out, but I'm stepping through that portal, trusting that the universe is guiding me, trusting that the universe has got my back. And if everything fails, then at least I can say, well, I tried something new, period. And let that be your own justification to yourself, you know? So if you've been feeling restless and a little bit, you know, lost, Magic Mel is right there with you. Let's do this self-reflective process together. Ba bandidos? Charles and I have got your back. Thanks for being here. Let me know in the comments box how this full moon is treating you, what you're feeling, what's coming up for you. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you also for liking, sharing, subscribing. If I vibe with you, if you vibe with my messages. And you guys know I do private tarot readings. I do coaching. You know, individually we don't have things figured out, but there are people who've gone on a certain path and can be guides and signposts and lighthouses. So find that people to guide you if you feel you need that guidance or that extra support. It's okay. You know, I've done the same. I've reached out to so many people. I've worked with so many people on my own journey. So yeah, do what feel worthy of support if you need it, and find the people that you resonate with. Okay, if you vibe with me, the details are in the description box below. Also for tarot readings, and know that I have my Patreon channel where I do extra energy updates for my Patreon tribe, which is Magic Mill and the Love Rebels. Bandidos, stay tuned. I'll see you later. Ciao.